Patrick Connor here once more with a helping of pugilistic fare on the Fistic Fix. In this month's episode, we rehashed the month of October, which left much to be desired for many, and preview November, which should net the sport a handful of bigger-name fights. On October 1st, middleweights Hassan N'Dam and Curtis Stevens took to ESPN in an anticipated special edition of Wednesday Boxing. What was generally seen as a competitive fight going in turned into a mostly one-sided lesson in both activity and movement in favor of N'Dam. Stevens, known for his toughness and punching power, failed to get offensive momentum going and wound up dropping a unanimous decision to the Cameroonian fighting out of France. As an IBF eliminator, the win sets N'Dam up for a potential crack at Jermaine Taylor, who recently acquired the trinket against Sam Sulaiman. October 4th on Showtime, unbeaten Cuban IBF junior lightweight belt holder Ronces Barthelemy headlined a disappointing Showtime card, defending his belt by wide unanimous decision against Fernando David Saucedo. It's unclear what lies ahead for the speedy Barthelemy, but here's hoping it's a more exciting outing than this one. Also on October 4th, in Leeds, Yorkshire, UK, Josh Warrington dominated Italian David Dealey en route to a fourth-round stoppage to pick up the vacant EBU featherweight belt. Fighting in his hometown, Warrington used a busy style and overcame a few jitters to floor Dealey in round 4 with a right hand. Up slowly, Dealey found himself snacking on a relentless assault that forced a referee stoppage moments later. With a European belt and a solid cheering section in hand, Warrington may look to keep a busier schedule in 2015. Fast forward to October 11th in London, which had Welshman Lee Selby victorious in 9 rounds in an IBF featherweight eliminator over Australian Joel Brunker. In handing the previously undefeated Brunker his first loss, Selby made a relatively slow start before having matters well in hand by rounds 6 and 7. Accelerating his offense at that point, Selby managed to hurt Brunker downstairs before leaving him sitting on the ropes, essentially helpless, bringing an end to the fight. On the same day in Cancun, Mexico, 41-year-old Cornelius Bundridge surprised many, including his foe Carlos Molina, by scoring 2 knockdowns on the way to tabbing a wide unanimous decision for the IBF junior middleweight belt. In a tedious fight, Molina spent much of his time following Bundridge, who has never been known as a keen stylist. Whether time off and legal issues affected Molina or not, the native Mexican failed to defend his belt, and an unpleasing style will now make it difficult for him to land a fight. As for Bundridge, his options just opened up, apparently. A new star emerged in Carson, California on October 18th, as Jamaican featherweight Nicholas Walters laid waste to former pound-for-pound Filipino talent Walters-Donaire in 6 rounds. An entertaining affair, Walters used his jab and reach to befuddle Donaire before eating his patented left hook at the end of round 2, which scrambled his circuits. Walters went back to work, however, making Donaire pay for his hook and subsequent aggression, before ending the fight with an overhand right in round 6 that put Donaire down hard. With this win, the featherweight division and boxing in general welcomes an entertaining young fighter with a lot of potential. Headlining the same card in Carson, Gennady Triple G Golovkin, the middleweight monster from Kazakhstan, extended his knockout streak to 18 in a row with a second-round knockout over Mexican contender Marco Antonio Rubio. A check hook in round 2 deposited Rubio onto the canvas, where he failed to beat the somewhat quick referee count. Aside from bludgeoning another contender at middleweight, Golovkin also proved to be a significant draw at the StubHub Center and pulled in one of the highest ratings for boxing this year. Next stop, the winner of a likely Miguel Cotto versus Saul Alvarez fight. We hope. Popular Yorkshire lightweight Luke Campbell continued his quest to become more than just an Olympic gold medalist with flash, as he stopped Daniel Eduardo Brizuela on October 25th at the Hull Arena in his hometown. Brizuela was sent to the canvas by a salvo in round 5, before the bout was stopped moments later when Campbell followed up the knockdown with an assault. Campbell is still developing, but it looks like a showdown with crosstown rival Tommy Coyle is in the books for next year. November 8th may or may not be a day that lives in infamy, as 49-year-old Bernard Hopkins shrugs off risking life and limb against Russian powerhouse Sergey Kovalev in Atlantic City. On an impressive run given his age, Hopkins looks to recapture the same greatness that notched him wins over Felix Trinidad, Oscar De La Hoya, Antonio Tarver, and countless others. But standing in his way is Kovalev, a younger, hungry knockout artist, hell-bent on destroying everything in his path. Can Hopkins once again turn back the clock and deliver a performance for the ages on HBO? Or will Kovalev seek out and obliterate the ageless Philly fighter? There's only one way to find out. On November 15th in Hamburg, Germany, heavyweight champion Vladimir Klitschko defends the title against Bulgarian contender Kubrat Pulev on Eurosport. Basically, Klitschko is being made to scrape the bottom of the barrel for challenges these days, averaging 2 fights a year over the last handful of years. Klitschko has cleaned out the division, either by knockout or dreadful decision. Pulev might be able to make a dent, as Klitschko can be fragile, but it's unlikely, as the highly skilled big man tends to know just how to neutralize opponents. The following week, November 22nd in Macau, China, Filipino megastar Manny Pacquiao defends his WBO welterweight belt against comparatively unpopular New York fighter Chris Algieri. This HBO pay-per-view matchup has proven to be a head-scratcher for most fans, as many felt Algieri just barely nudged by Russian Ruslan Provodnikov in his last fight. And since Provodnikov is Algieri's only bigger-name opponent, and Algieri's style isn't very exciting, fans are left wondering why this fight was made. The odds are that the fast and powerful Pacquiao, who has seemed to lose a step or two, will still prevail in this one. On the same day in Liverpool, UK, Welsh fighter Nathan Cleverly continues his cruiserweight experiment in a rematch against Tony Bellew on Sky Box Office. Their 2011 bout was the culmination of bad blood that had been marinating between the two due to Bellew missing weight in a previously proposed fight months earlier that wound up scrapped. A tense affair, both men look to see some kind of ranking in the division, though Liverpool native Bellew will certainly have the crowd and punching power on his side. Cleverly is still looking to shake the thought of his stoppage loss to Sergey Kovalev in 2013, though, and might try to make a statement. In a battle of two gregarious heavyweights on November 29th, Tyson Fury rematches Derek Chisora in a smash-up that's likely to produce excitement as far as heavyweights go. The first fight had Fury taking a convincing decision over Chisora, and this Box Nation rematch has been postponed already due to Chisora injuring his hand. Both men bring plenty of pre-fight trash talk, and both have shown a tendency to get sucked into battles. But if the comically poetic Tyson Fury expects to demonstrate his announced greatness, he'll have to snag another win over the rugged Chisora. Bringing the month to a close, Terrence Crawford returns to Omaha, Nebraska on November 29th, facing tough contender Ray Beltran on HBO. Riding a bit of a high after big wins over Ricky Burns and Yuriorkis Gamboa, Crawford attempts to once more mobilize the troops in his hometown for a defense of his WBO lightweight belt. Beltran, while generally limited in ability, has no shortage of heart and grit. The expectation is that the skilled yet reserved Crawford will simply have too much finesse for Beltran, but don't count the Mexican native out. On next month's Fistic Fix, we look back on November's offerings and preview the final month of 2014. Join us next time